Hello everyone, myself Prachi Alone from Sri Shivaji Science College Amravati. Today I am here to present the some information on the quantum yield. So today we are going to learn about the quantum yield. To learn about the quantum yield, here I am sharing the PowerPoint presentation with you. So let's begin with our today's topic, that is quantum yield. I welcome you one and all to the Sri Shivaji Science College Amravati, to the chemistry department. Today's seminar report on the topic quantum yield, which I am going to tell you about the quantum yield. So we start our discussion on the quantum yield. Let's begin. Now, what do you mean by the quantum yield? How can you define the quantum yield? Quantum yield is nothing but the number of molecules reacting per quanta energy absorbed. What do you mean by quantum? Quantum is nothing but the amount of energy absorbed. Or we have another definition for the quantum yield, the number of moles reacting per Einstein of energy absorbed. The quantum yield, it is denoted by phi. Now, to determine the numerical value of the quantum yield, we have formula. The first one here you can see the number of molecules reacting in a given time upon number of quanta of light absorbed in the same time. Or the another one is phi equals to number of moles reacting in a given time upon number of Einsteins of light absorbed in the same time. The third one here you can see the experimental determination of quantum yield. How to determine the quantum yield with the help of some experiment. In order to find out the quantum yield of photochemical reactions, two types of determinations are given. The first type one you can see determination of number of moles. It can be determined by analytical methods used in chemical kinetics. By knowing the concentration of reactants before and after reaction, the number of moles can be calculated. So here it's given that the detection of number of moles reacted. Next, the type 2, that is the determination of number of Einsteins absorbed. Now, to determine the number of Einsteins absorbed, we need some special arrangement. Here in the picture you can see that arrangement. The source of light passing through the lens, then through the monochromatometer, and then to the thermostat, and then lastly to the detector which detects the intensity of light lastly. We will go step by step. First here you can see the source of light. The source of light may be sunlight, lamp, mercury vapor lamp, discharge tube, tungsten lamp, etc., which emit some radiations of some intensity. We all know this. Okay, then the next one is monochromatometer, which consists of optical fiber. It absorbs unwanted wavelength of light and transmit lights of required wavelength. In the picture you can see the source of light which is transmitted to the monochromatometer, which absorbs some wavelength of the light. And the next one is reaction cell. The reaction cell, it is made up of glass or quartz with optically plane window for entrance and the exit of light. It is placed in thermostat to keep reactant at constant temperature. In the this experimental diagram, you can see that the cell reactor is kept inside the thermostat. For what? For nothing but to keep the constant temperature of the reactant. Okay. Now, the last one, that is detector, which detects or measures the intensity of light falling on a suitable detector. Okay, the light passing through empty cell, its intensity is measured as IA, and the next one, the intensity of transmitted light, is capital I. Now the difference between the IA and I give the intensity of light absorbed in the reaction. The intensity of light is measured by using either a thermopile or chemical actinometer. First we will begin with the thermopile. Thermopile is nothing but the multi-junction thermocouple consisting usually of metals like Ag and bismuth connected with a moving coil galvanometer. Here the metal strips are blackened. Why it's blackened? Because the blackened strip in this thermopile absorb the light and converted into heat. Due to this, the temperature is raised and the current generated due to this temperature difference is measured. The current produced is directly proportional to intensity of radiations. Means as the current increases, the intensity of radiations also increases. Now the next one is chemical actinometer, which consists of a solution which is affected by a light. For example, now you can see here the extent of radiation is directly proportional to the intensity of light absorbed. The most common chemical actinometer is uranyl oxalate actinometer, which consists of 0.05 molar oxalic acid and 0.01 molar of uranyl sulfate in water. Oxalic acid decomposes photochemically in presence of uranyl sulfate. Here these two reactions are given. You can see here the molecule UO2, that is uranyl ion. It is known as activated ion. In the presence of light, that uranyl ions get activated. Now the remaining amount of oxalic acid can be titrated against KMnO4 solution. So in this reaction, by knowing the number of moles and number of Einstein's absorbed, quantum yield can be determined. Earlier we have seen the formula to determine the quantum yield. So just by simply knowing these both values, we can put these values in formula to get the quantum yield. So the next one, division of various photochemical reactions. Now there are three types. Here you can see high quantum yield reaction, low quantum yield reaction and extremely high. The high quantum yield includes the quantum yield with value 1, 2, 3. Some reactions are given. For examples, you can see twice HBr gives H2 plus Br2 with quantum yield 2. The next one, low quantum yield, that is less than 1. For example, twice NH3 gives N2 plus thrice H2, phi equals to 0.2. And the third one is quantum yield extremely high. For example, H2 plus Cl2 gives twice HCl and the quantum yield for that reaction is 10 to the power 4 to 10 to the power 6, which is extremely high. Now, in this slide, some reactions are given with their quantum yields. So in these examples, you can see two reactions with quantum yield equals to 1, that is SO2 plus Cl2 gives SO2Cl2 with quantum yield 1 and H2S gives H2 plus H with quantum yield equals to 1. The quantum yield equals to 1 can also be called as ideal quantum yield. So here you can figure out some reactions with their quantum yield. Now we will move to our next slide. So here is given reasons for high and low quantum yield. In order to explain the variation in quantum yields, Bornstein pointed out two photochemical reactions involving two distinct processes, which include the primary processes and the secondary processes. In the primary processes, light radiation, suppose one molecule A which absorbs light and it converted into the excited molecule A as given in the reaction. Let's move to the secondary process. In this secondary process, the absorption of light is not there. The excited molecule formed in the primary process is taken into the secondary process. Due to this, the chain reaction is carried out in secondary process, due to which the quantum yield can be increased or decreased. Now, reasons for high quantum yield. High quantum yield involves the chain reaction. Just now we have seen that in secondary process, the excited molecule formed in the primary process is taken, due to which the quantum yield can be increased or decreased involving the chain reaction. Here in this example, you can see the secondary reaction, second and third repeat alternately and chain reaction is set up. Thus, infinite number of HCl molecules are formed in the reaction. However, the chain reaction may be broken. Means the chain reaction can also be broke by the combination of some impurity like oxygen and the activated hydrogen and activated chlorine atom. An intermediate product form may act as catalyst. Next, the secondary reaction may be, so this reaction can be exothermic and energy release start further the reaction. And now we all know that when the means activated molecules get collide with unactivated molecules, it transfers its energy to that molecule. So with the help of that energy transport, the inactivated molecule can get activated. Now the reasons for the low quantum yield. Energy absorbed by the molecule may not be sufficient to excite the molecules and to start the reaction. So due to this, the primary photochemical process may get reversed. So due to this, they recombine to form original molecule. By forming the original molecules, they lose some energy by forming this original molecule by collision or collision with non-excited molecules. So due to this, the excited molecule may get deactivated. Why they get deactivated? You know that it loses energy. So simply it gets deactivated before they form the product. So here we have end our our today's topic. I thank you to one and all to listen me carefully. Yes, and we have concluded this topic.